Greater Manchester spirit, northern grit, northern wit in Greater...
Memorial ceremonies continue for the victims of the Manchester bombing. Donald Trump receives a not-so-warm welcome in Brussels as he joins Justin Trudeau and other world leaders at NATO and G7 summits.
And Canada will continue to step up, as we always have, now and into the future.
Toronto Fire issues a maximum response to a massive lakeside blaze early this morning. Humber News starts now.
Hi, I'm Matt Hodder, coming to you from our newsroom at Humber's North Campus. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's making news this hour. Following the Manchester attack, multiple suspects have been arrested as the hunt continues. Salman Abedi was the alleged bomber, but Manchester police believe that he was used as a mule to carry a bomb he likely did not help create. Police swept Manchester, arresting 7 people, including Ismail Abedi, Salman's older brother. Counterterrorism authorities in Libya believe that Salman Abedi's family was involved in plotting these attacks, including his younger brother, Hashem Abedi, who allegedly plotted against Tripoli. Meanwhile, members of the Manchester Mosque, where it is thought Abedi had attended, are condemning the alleged attackers' behavior.
I'm absolutely shocked. Absolutely shocked. And I know my mosque does not stand for those kind of activities. If it's known by anybody, we will be the first person that fetch them out and hand them to the authority.
That was Didsbury Mosque member Halina Khan. She told reporters that she did not know Abedi. Police have been guarding the building as crowds of media swarm around it. Mosque trustee Fawzi Hafar denied any reports that the alleged bomber had worked at the center. Police continue investigations at a house in nearby Fallowfield, where Abedi is believed to have lived. These developments have not caused UK officials to change the terror threat level.
The police have confirmed that 8 suspects remain in custody and that progress is being made in the case. But the threat level, as assessed by the Independent Joint Terrorism Analysis Centre, will remain at critical, and the public should remain vigilant.
Critical means that terrorist attack is expected imminently, according to UK intelligence service MI5. Canada uses a similar threat level scale, where critical means a violent act of terrorism is highly likely and could occur imminently. Canada's threat level has not changed from medium since October 2014. In determining these threat levels, officials factor the intention, capability, and opportunity a terrorist organization may have in attacking. The classified information leaked by the US about the deadly Manchester attacks will be on the agenda, or high on the agenda at the NATO summit today in Brussels. Prime Minister Theresa May is expected to raise the issue directly with President Donald Trump at the meeting. May says that Britain's intelligence sharing relationship with the US is Britain's deepest defense and security partnership. May plans to make it clear to Trump that intelligence shared between law enforcement agencies must remain secure. The NATO Secretary General echoes the importance of trust in sharing intelligence at a press conference.
And it's a bilateral issue between the US and UK. What I can say is that sharing intelligence is of great importance. Sharing intelligence is based on trust, and we have seen in NATO over many, many years that we have been able to share intelligence in a good way. What I can say in general is that intelligence is of great importance for NATO. We are stepping up our efforts and our work when it comes to sharing intelligence.
The Pope told President Trump what he thinks should be discussed at the NATO meeting. Trump met with Pope Francis on his international religious tour earlier this week. The Pope urged Trump not to pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. He even gifted Trump with his 192-page encyclical on combating climate change to take with him to the NATO meeting. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau arrived in Brussels last night to meet with NATO and G7 summit leaders. It is the first NATO summit for President Donald Trump. Topics for discussion will include defense, terrorism, trade, and climate change. It is anticipated that European Union leaders will be looking to Trudeau for guidance on how to work with Trump.
I'm happy to take your... I'm looking forward to a productive meeting later today with our NATO partners as we discuss pressing issues facing our alliance, including terrorism, and work together to chart a path forward.
Maximum security measures are in place for the summit as world leaders gather in Brussels. The recount following the BC election has left the Liberals with a slim minority government. The Green Party has the balance of power between the Liberals and NDP with just 3 seats. Green Party leader Andrew Weaver says the party is in negotiations and will decide which party to back within the next week. The province waited for 3 days after the election as absentee ballots were recounted in ridings that were too close to call. This will be the first minority government in BC in 65 years. A 6-alarm fire broke out at a recycling plant on Cherry Street early this morning. Firemen say the large amounts of plastic and cardboard created too much fuel for the fire. Responders worked overnight to stop the fire from spreading to a neighboring mattress factory. As of 8:05, the fire was downgraded to a 2-alarm, but firefighters are still on the scene. We expect an update from Chief Pegg this afternoon. If you're wondering why my face is so burnt, that's because I went to Greenwood Farms earlier this week with Feed It Forward to plant crops for Jagger Gordon's upcoming Pay What You Can grocery store. And I didn't wear sunscreen. Here at Greenwood Farms, there's not much growing yet, but soon Jagger Gordon and Feed It Forward will be providing enough food for thousands of people at a price they can afford. Gordon and a team of volunteers arrived Saturday morning at Greenwood Farms to plant crops that will grow to become food used for his upcoming Pay What You Can and Take What You Need grocery store. Gordon, executive chef at Feed It Forward and Jagger Gordon Catering, says the connection with Greenwood Farms was made through networking on social media, and a Plant What You Need agreement allows for growth for both parties.
And basically the network just started opening up, the doors started opening up, and Greenwood Farms came forward and offered a beautiful location here in Whitby by saying plant what you want, plant what you need, and plant what you're going to take.
As owners and operators of Greenwood Farms, Doug and Nancy Plurd are more than willing to offer their resources for Gordon's cause at no cost.
My husband Doug and I got talking and we thought, what a great idea. I mean, we don't need to rent it. We have land we're not using. And the cows are going off this year. We're not having any more cows. So why don't we do something like this?
So what is the catch for Gordon and Feed It Forward? Plurd insists that contrary to common social expectation, there is none.
There must be a catch. There must be a catch. And even Jagger said to me, what's the catch? When he first talked to me. And I said, there's no catch.
Feed It Forward is expanding into social conscience and has already reached those outside of the organization as well.
I'm actually not involved with Feed It Forward. I'm one of the people that were just invited to come up and plant here at the farm. So, but what they're doing is great. I mean, it's helping supply food to people that don't necessarily have access to it. So it's great just to be able to see that sort of food system be a little more sustainable.
Here at Greenwood's Farms, Jagger Gordon and the Feed It Forward team are planting a crop that will yield about 10 to 20,000 pounds of food, most of which will be going to Gordon's upcoming Pay What You Can grocery store at Dundas and Bathurst. That's not all Jagger Gordon had on this weekend, as his new Pay What You Can soup bar celebrated its grand opening. Dylan Perigo has the story.
Hello? What? No soup for you!
On the contrary, Chef Jagger Gordon's soup bar, opened with the help of Feed It Forward, is well supplied with diverted food and willing to feed everyone, even if they can't afford it. Sunday was the grand opening of Gordon's new Pay What You Can soup and sandwich restaurant, where customers are only asked to pay what they can afford. Those with extra cash can pay for themselves, along with someone else's meal by purchasing a poker chip, which acts as a meal voucher. Those who cannot pay for themselves are encouraged to take a chip and pay for their food that way. Soup Bar embodies Feed It Forward's mission of eliminating food waste, as it uses food provided by grocery stores and bakeries that was originally bound for landfills, turning it into high-quality and healthy meals. On Sunday, the menu featured Asiago red pepper soup and chicken bone marrow pho. Since its opening, Soup Bar has been well received by those in the community.
You know, being here in the community and opening up the Soup Bar has been really receptive. Like, the community members have all shown up, giving me support by saying, it's something unique and something different that the community needed.
Among the volunteers that showed up was Peter Thompson, who wants to see Soup Bar expand to feed even more people.
Well, I hope they can get more of these things going so other people are not as mentally challenged to help them have a good meal.
Chef Doris Finn is adamant in her goal to eliminate hunger and food waste in our city.
To make food stop ending up in the landfills, to make sure that everybody who needs food has food, and for it to stop being even an issue.
The skies may be gray and the breeze may be brisk here at Dundas and Bathurst, but one thing's for certain. Stomachs are full and hearts are warm as Jagger Gordon and company are here to prove to the city that the Soup Bar and Feed It Forward are here to stay. Reporting for Humber News, I'm Dylan Perigo. Back to you, Matt.
It's the end of an era for one of Toronto's most iconic landmarks. Torontonians crowded the corner of Bloor and Bathurst Tuesday to say farewell to the famous Honest Ed sign. Construction workers were on hand to remove the sign, which was hung on the side of the Honest Ed's building since 1984. Humber News reporter Brandon Chogri was there for the historic occasion.
The legendary Honest Ed sign is coming down after lighting up Bloor Street for over 30 years. A crane was brought in to remove the 60-foot-long sign piece by piece. The Pattison Sign Group installed the sign in 1984 after working with Honest Ed himself on the design. Bob Zincone explained some of the logistics behind removing the sign.
We've had the electrical disconnected. There's a structure in behind. We've got some through bolts through the wall, some hooks that go onto a structure in the back. So basically we're going to take it down. It's in 9 pieces. So we'll take the 9 pieces down today and tomorrow, most likely. And then from here it'll go to our manufacturing plant in Aurelia, where we'll check the structure and we'll do a little bit of patching on the outside, check the structure for anything that needs to be replace that. And then the entire sign stays as is. It's just going to get a clear coat over the top of the sign so to protect it in the future when it goes back up at Mervis Theatre.
Zincone also spoke to the importance of the sign to Torontonians.
There's a huge groundswell of support for keeping the sign and preserving not only the heritage of Honest Ed, but also the history of Toronto.
The sign featured 23,000 light bulbs and weighed almost 10,000 pounds. For many people in Toronto, this week's removal marked the final chapter in a long goodbye to a treasured city tradition.
I came out today because I remember when I came here, 2012, when I saw this flyer, the Honest Ed, and I look at them, it's like Hollywood to me. It's so bright. So now, they tear it off, I feel sad because the light is already off.
The beloved sign will be sorely missed at its original location at Bloor and Bathurst. A large crowd has gathered here to witness the final hours of the famous sign. It will be relocated to the Ed Mervis Theatre sometime in 2018 after being refurbished. For Humber News, I'm Brandon Chogri.
We're going to take a quick break. Still ahead, the latest in sports. But first, Sarah has a preview of your 3-day forecast.
Well, just when you thought we were done with the spring showers, here we are again. We're seeing some reduced visibility on the roads today, so stay safe out there, Toronto. We'll let you know when this wet weather will end with our 3-day forecast coming up after the break.